So we continue our series on faith and feelings, and this important topic that Newman discusses in different sermons, and we have taken 3 of those sermons to go deeper into this topic. The one that we will be discussing today is the one that is called Religious Practice, Remedy for Emotions. So Newman speaks about the opposite that we have been talking about, and he says that our religious practice could be a medicine, a remedy for our religious emotions, can help to educate, if we will, our human emotions. And he takes this from the letter of St. James, and so he goes deeper into just one verse where James says, "Is any of you sad? Let him pray. Is he joyful? Let him sing psalms." And so this is a universal principle that prayer is a guidance for our religious emotions. And we'll go deeper into this in this one particular video and our discussion. So what Newman is saying is that our emotions need to be directed in the right way. They need education. They need to be taught because we can go through a range of different emotions even in one day, and our prayer life can help us to live in a more balanced way, because when we are feeling joyful, it's not always necessary that everything is going fine. There's always another side to the medal, and so we need to be able to see that other side, and prayer is what is able to give us that. And so sometimes we are very sad because of something that happened, and we tend to be more in a darker place. But when we go to prayer, that is able to show us that not everything is so dark, and that there's another side to the medal as well. So St. James says, always pray in every different circumstance, whatever is going on emotionally, go to prayer. And above all, Newman, he highlights the importance of liturgical prayer. And sometimes, in our own personal prayer, we can translate a lot of our own emotions, and prayer can continue to be to go in the same direction that we were going. But liturgical prayer takes us away from our own emotional world or the state that we are in emotionally in that moment. And so when we go to Mass, we just throw ourselves into daily Mass for 30 minutes, and we undergo a whole process of asking for forgiveness for our sins, of listening to the Word of God, of receiving Him in communion, of being with a community of other people who are in another emotional state, and all these different things that bring us back to the big picture of our life and help us to overcome our emotional state of the moment. So Newman says liturgical prayer above all could be a great guidance for our emotions, and especially for our religious emotions, because we are not always feeling what we ought to feel towards God. And so in the liturgy, we receive a guidance for those feelings. And then the second means that Newman discusses is that of persecution, or when things don't go so well for our faith, and when we experience a little bit of hindrance or something that doesn't go as well, and it creates some type of persecution in our lives. That is for the purification of our emotions and our faith. He uses, of course, the example of the first Christians who became so strong in their faith in the midst of great persecutions. And so in 3 centuries, they experienced 10 very fierce persecutions, and many people even died for the faith. But that purified the faith of these first communities of Christians in such a way that they grew in that obedience of faith. And so they were directed towards God even more strongly. Newman uses the example or the character of Bartimaeus, that man in the gospel who was born blind, and he's healed by Christ. You might recall the story where Jesus is going by the town of Jericho, and Bartimaeus is at the gate of the town, and he knows that Jesus is coming by, and he has probably heard of the reputation of this great healer, and he begins to reach out to Jesus. Jesus, son of David, have pity on me. And then Jesus calls him to himself, and he would end up healing him. But Bartimaeus experiences three hindrances in going up to be healed by Christ. The first one is his own character, his own personality, his own past. And so he has to overcome this comfort of being the blind beggar who sits at the gate of the town of Jericho and that people help. And he has to overcome that comfort. And so he does that when he throws away the cloak and springs up to go to see Jesus. Then the second hindrance is that of the community. The disciples want to quiet him because he's yelling too loud, and so they say, hey, be quiet. And so the community also might create some type of persecution towards us, sometimes with good intention, sometimes with not such good intention, but that helps us to be purified in our emotions, religious emotions guided towards God. And then the third one is Jesus himself, where he is the one who challenges Bartimaeus. What do you want me to do for you? He almost like pushes him. It's obvious that this man is blind and he wants to be healed, but Jesus pushes him for him to be able to say, Lord, that I may see. Help me that I may be able to see. And so he has to state his intention before the Lord, and to see from all the things that he would be able to ask for, he's able to ask the one that is the most essential. So Jesus sometimes might even bring some challenge into our lives so that we may be purified in our following of the Lord and our discipleship. So our religious practice, both liturgical prayer and also the role of persecutions in our life, they help to purify and guide our emotions towards God, and they help to educate them. I hope you have great discussions in this with this video in your Newman circles, and as we continue to delve deeper into this important topic of faith and practice.